Figure
I mean,
it is
so
what it
we're
is.
live.
2023, and we are live. We are
Yeah, the last conversation was in August, I think, or the beginning of September, end of August, I believe.
correct. How you doing?
Good, adjusting to the
This
dad life.
yeah, I was gonna say there's so much to talk about, but first thing is first, right? Congratulations on being a papa.
Yeah,
Officially, there's no going back.
yeah,
There's all in
yeah,
it, right?
yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Like just watching Raphael grow is amazing because it's like when he's first just like a little baby, they're just there. They kind of just like
They need to survive. It's just the
yeah.
basics. They're at the
But,
basics of
but
survival, of
what's it called?
existing.
Like a leech, you know?
They're just
Not
on
not
the
saying
high.
if it's a leech, they're like parasites. They're just there. They can't move. They're just
Yeah,
hanging around. It's like a couple weeks until they can actually like start seeing across the room and the eyes start working, and then the adjustment of them just like recognizing different voices. But we're just watching it all like nonstop because I had my nieces and everything, so I saw like little kids all the time. But like
right.
continuously, like I wasn't working for 3 months. I was just here, just 3 months, just watching
Yeah,
him grow. But then, like, you don't realize he's grown until you go back and look at the older pictures.
correct, correct.
Yeah,
That's
which is
awesome,
dope.
bro.
Yeah,
I'm it's exciting. It's exciting. And do you think that would you say like, yo, it's like it's not till you go through it or you become a dad or a parent, right? I would say a parent, just until you have a baby or baby of your own, some things you just can't experience otherwise, right? Not to take away from anything or go into any of that stuff, but I'm like,
well, I'm
man.
gonna take away from things. What I've always annoyed me, and now that I'm a parent, I can say it because I have the experience on both ends.
Okay.
When people say their pets are their children,
Oh,
like they're lying. Like and I don't want to be
no, you don't want
that
to be that person, right?
yeah,
I get
that guy.
it.
Like I have friends who they can't have kids,
Right, right.
so like having a pet might be like the closest thing they'll have to experience it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same. It's like I've had dogs, I've had cats. I love my
Mm-hmm.
dogs, I love my cats. Um, but like if I had to choose between every single pet I had or my son, like there's no like
It
there's no
doesn't.
choice. It's like yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I don't think it compares at all, bro. It's just something that's just so like obviously it's life changing, right? Literally, but for me, I've always say this like the moment my our first child was born, it saved me. She saved me. She brought me back. Because just so many magical things happen within you. Um, that comes with that with the territory.
Yeah, I can see that. I never been in a place where I was like that low. I kind
Hmm.
of always been ranging from like a 4 to a 7 in my life.
Right, right.
So I like never, like just kind of in the middle. Sometimes kind of good, sometimes kind of bad, but like
Right.
never really low enough where I would say that it saved me. But the perspective it gave me is incredible because like I'll just like go on, just open up Internet Explorer and just look at like the news feeds,
Yeah.
and then like you see all like there was like two stories, right? One was this mom
Hmm.
didn't feed her newborn for like a week or like 3 days. I don't know
Mm.
the exact amount of time, doesn't matter. Like
Right.
my wife can't go like 3 hours without trying to feed my son, right? She's always worried in case he's hungry. And at the end of the story or end of the news article, um, I'm just like just evil, like pure evil. Her dad, so the baby's grandfather, they just put the baby in a bag and left it in a ditch to die, right? And then like a year ago, if I read that story, I would kind of get like a little sick feeling in my stomach. But now, like reading the story of my son in the perspective of just like how much they rely on you, especially early on, it's just like, yo, like
There's
how, yeah,
something's not right there, right?
yeah,
Like
like how,
there's no other explanation because right because of what you
like
experience,
what
right?
I don't want to say like to drag the woman, even though like I do, but I don't, because like obviously something is not right with her. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
obviously
Mm-hmm.
the basic instinct to just care for an infant
Mm-hmm.
is gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
correct.
like why is, I was like, yo, what a POS.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
another one where a mom killed her two daughters, like I think they're like 10 and 6, or
Oh my goodness.
to get back at her husband or boy or baby daddy. Like at that point, just kill yourself. Like why you gotta kill them?
Those are wild
Yeah,
stories though.
yeah,
You know, that's like
yeah. But
that's
like I see it now, and like before, I just wouldn't really pay any mind to it.
mm-hmm.
But now I actually have to like. It's not that it just hits me different. It's like the relatability, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's. I guess I can go with anything. Like if you
Right.
don't experience it, someone just tells you where you can't really relate to it. And if you can't relate to it, then you kind of dismiss it.
The connection is not as
Yeah,
strong, right?
yeah. We have the connection, the connection now.
What is your favorite? All right, what is one thing that he does that just gets to you, your baby?
See, he just loves me. He
Yeah.
just
The
he. I
way
think
he
he.
loves you, right? Everything is
Well,
just like unconditional love.
he, Paulo would be breastfeeding him, like,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then he just hears his voice, and then he just
Starts looking
goes back and
around,
like
smile.
just looks for me, and he'll stare at me, and then like he'll want like my approval, and then he'll just go back to doing whatever he's doing.
Bro, it's
Yeah,
crazy, right?
yeah, it's amazing.
It's like it's crazy that you are someone else's superhero.
Yeah.
Um, and what were there any life were there any moments that you feel that were or specific moments that came when he was born or through that journey that just kind of rocked you? Specific moments or anything or reflections or if anything, just more
Um,
of like what you're saying, but if anything, more like specific things or just thoughts that like were personal to you in regards to your heart, your connection with now being a father and a son.
um, I don't feel that big of a change, which is kind of weird. Like
Mm-hmm.
people say, like they become parents and like their whole life has changed. My responsibilities now are the same. You gotta, instead of like protecting just my wife, I gotta protect my wife and my son,
Correct.
and then I just gotta make sure financially everything is all right for
Mm-hmm.
them. But other than that, it's kind of like, I remember Mr. Sacco once said like he felt like he's 18 forever. Like you
Yeah.
turn 18,
Yeah.
like when you're 16, you feel 16. When you're 12, you feel 12. But like after you turn like a certain age, you just feel like that
Yeah.
continuously.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
And like just the more I think of it, like I just kind of, I feel the same as I did last year, but I think more happy.
Well,
But
that's
that,
good.
or happier, not more happy,
Right.
happier.
Right. Would you say more fulfilled, more complete, or closer to completion?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's because there's
That,
still like
right.
a lot
Right.
of things
Well,
to
there's
do.
a whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, yeah,
With
like
your with your kid forever.
yeah, yeah. He can't even walk yet.
No,
You know,
that's
he's
amazing,
starting
man.
to roll.
Oh man.
He's starting to try to sit up.
Okay.
He's only
What does
5.5 months, so he's
you
still
think
getting there.
he looks more like mom or like you? What's the take? What's everybody
He
saying?
got her nose,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
like the shape of her eyes, but like the wideness of mine, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he has a butt chin.
Yeah, no, really? Does she?
Yeah, no, but I think my little sister does,
Okay.
and Donnie has a butt chin, so it might be
Yeah.
something. My mom might have one too, but just like a
Right.
little one. One of my
Like
nieces do,
tiny, tiny. That's good.
which is so funny because it's like, where did you get that from? It's not mine.
That's
He has
funny.
way more hair than me.
Yep. Yep.
Like he came out this
That's
dude.
probably her side, right?
I don't know because it's like my hair.
It's
Like
yeah, that's
it's my hair color. It's
like a mix of
maybe
genetics.
her texture. Yeah, he's like
Yeah,
like there's sometimes she'll send pictures of him and her
yeah,
because she works on Montessori school and she just brings him there for with the
yeah,
infant group. So like
yeah,
she'll take time to like breastfeed him and stuff there, and she'll just send pictures of them both together, and they look alike.
yeah.
But then like the facial structure, I think is more like mine when I was a baby.
Gotcha. That
Like
makes sense.
maybe 60-40 her to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting because your
Yeah,
baby's gonna keep changing and growing, and then you'll
yeah,
really find out, and even in personality too. Like you'll be like, "Oh man, that's me right
yeah.
there."
He's really patient.
Is he? He's a good baby.
Yeah, so like
Not good. I guess good and bad is not the right term, but I'm
yeah,
saying more of like,
patient, impatient, I guess is the best.
yeah,
Is like when
yes,
he was a newborn, like he'll wake up and then he won't wait. He wouldn't wake us up.
yeah.
He would
He
just
would
kind
just,
of lay. He just kind of lay there for like
uh,
maybe like
that,
45 minutes,
oh, that's so
an hour,
amazing.
and then he'll start kind of like making noises,
Yeah,
and then he would start crying.
yeah, that's amazing because I think for similar, like I felt like looking back into perspective, right? What you're describing is what Faye was to us, our first baby. But I say this, like if she would have been a different baby, we would have had a harder time. You know what I mean? So it was we were man young parents. She was still in school. I was trying to crawl out of my hole. You know, trying to figure stuff out. But she was such a good baby that like I didn't have to kind of like stress even more on top of what I was already trying to figure out of myself. Very calm. Um, just slept all the time. Good. During the night. I don't know how your baby is, but no, she. It's a good. It's almost like God knew we needed a a calm baby at the
Yeah.
beginning.
He'll if he's really tired, he'll sleep like 6 hours straight, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Normally like he has his own little schedule where 5 to 6 he's sleeping
Mhm.
at night. Then he'll wake up, um, take his bath time or whatever, and then
Yeah.
probably fall asleep around 8 or 9,
Yep.
and then he'll wake up at like 11, 2, 4,
Mhm. Yeah. It's not bad. How
6.
how's his appetite? Good. He just eats a lot.
I don't know. Sometimes he just
Yeah.
doesn't want to eat. Sometimes he's very
Y-
fussy, but
Yeah.
he just started eating the baby cereals,
Yep.
like the oats and the
Y-
rice,
Correct.
and pureed peas last week.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. We're just at the beginning. I think my baby just got 2 months, couple of like 4 days ago.
boy or girl?
Boy,
What's his
boy.
name?
So Wesley Ryan.
Wesley Pellerin, Villanueva.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wesley Ryan Villanueva.
Pellerin,
Ryan.
not Pellerin. You didn't
No,
name him after Wesley Pellerin?
no.
Oh,
Wesley Ryan.
was that 4?
That's four boys and one girl. So girls
5. Oh
being
my,
yeah, yeah, I
damn.
know, right? Don't
You
need-
have the team. You have your team. You
That's
can,
it, right?
you
That's
can
what I
call
was
you
saying.
that. That's your indoor soccer league team.
That's it. That's literally it, bro. Uh
Maybe make a couple more for like backups in case someone gets injured or
right.
whatever.
We need subs.
Yeah,
No, man,
congratulations.
I thought that's how we were gonna get together, and that's how like you had yours and Edwin has
Edwin had
his.
his.
So
Um,
like we would
uh,
can't be putting the whole team on.
this last year, a lot of my friends had babies.
So many babies. Like Hudson.
Richie Richie had another daughter at the end of August, and
Yeah.
Edwin had his daughter. Brandon Pindrun
Yeah.
had another
Yeah.
son. Brian Grassa had a son in like August.
Yep.
Then I had my son in October, well, October 31st. I think
Brian Ramirez had baby.
Brian Ramirez,
Omar had babies.
Omar had another one.
Yep.
Um,
Who else? A lot of babies, bro. Even Katie.
Nick Sukas,
Yeah.
um,
So
Brandon. No,
that
not I said
that
that. Yeah, It's just like if we all lived in Hudson, it would be terrible
Right.
for the teachers.
The no, we grew. Hudson grew, bro. I was and it's good. I feel like that's our generation right there now. Like just becoming or going through that stage of life of becoming parents or having more babies, and that's good. I think it's a good thing. I don't know if you had any thought about this, but like I felt like for a while there was a little bit of fear of people having more children, or like the idea that maybe they weren't, or that they didn't want kids, or the scary thought of being a parent. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Or even going back to what you were saying earlier, as people who would prefer pets over actually
Yeah,
raising a family because it's a big response. And you know what I mean? Like rightfully
yeah,
so. I think it's a right, like, we can understand the fear, but I'm so glad to see a lot of us, just kind of doing our part in this world, I guess, right?
yeah. I think there was just a gap between people. Like there's people who had them like right away,
Mm-hmm.
and then majority of us kind of just like I don't know because I wouldn't say it's a class thing, like economic class thing,
No,
because
right,
it's
right, right.
different. People who are different, economic
Yeah,
social
yeah,
statuses,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But it seems to be, I think maybe people are just waiting later to have kids.
Okay, yep.
Where like I'm 33,
Yeah,
right?
right, yeah,
Edwin's
yeah,
what? Edwin's gonna be like 31 or 32 in a couple
yeah,
weeks.
yeah,
So like we're older. Maybe we just knew that we were too immature back then to do it, and
correct.
we just kind of not really put our career first, but just kind of like waited to
Hmm.
mature, or
Yeah,
maybe just yeah,
yeah,
because it seemed
no,
like out of
hmm,
high school we were all just kind of doing whatever we wanted and not really caring.
right.
I'm sure if any of us had a kid directly out of high school, we probably would have just had the same reaction we had now.
Right, correct. And I think that's what happened with a lot of the ones
Yeah,
that did, and then the ones that surely, I can think I was 23, 24 when I started. But again, right, like it does change. As soon as that happens, it does, things kind of start looking a little different and more clear, if you may. I just jumped on it and try to run with it.
yeah, yeah. Because my brothers had him.
Yeah, because
I
they were the
was
generation before
17
us.
or
Yeah.
18. My brother had him when they're he's 3 years older than me. So when he was 21, he had a kid. The other one was probably 22 or 23 when he had a
Yep.
kid.
Yep.
So like I think there's just like a little gap between people born in the 80s and people born in the 90s where we're just kind of waiting a little bit just to see how
Yeah.
everything played out because we didn't want to rush into anything because we saw
Right.
everyone else rushing into it.
Yeah. Nah, but that's good. I'm happy to see a lot of the community. Um, but yeah, how do you change diapers and all the whole nine, or what? Talk to me about your
He don't poop a lot, man.
not
Like when
enough.
he was a baby, he was pooping a lot. He had the stuff that makes your skin yellow, too much bilirubin.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
like he had to just eat a lot and just kind of poop it out.
Yep.
But then he just stopped pooping. So he'll poop like once every 3 days, but they said it's normal when they're breastfeeding.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there was one a couple weeks ago where I just like refused to change. I just saw it and I was just like, you know what? It looked like someone dumped a bottle of Hershey syrup in his diaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm gonna
That's
if this gets
crazy.
on, it looked like tar. Like he's just gonna get on me and he's just gonna be wiping it up the same thing for an hour.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I knew
And
exactly
I
what.
assume they're gonna be happening more.
Like you could tell the texture by it, but be like, yo, this is gonna take a long time to like.
Yeah, it just
It's not
like
just
how
a
do you
clean
wipe
white.
mud?
Yeah, he
But
needs more liquid in his system, Michael. That's what that
yeah,
means. Yo, give me 1 second, bro.
yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. Almost left some food cooking. I forgot about it. I had to run.
What'd you make?
Steak,
Oh,
steak tips. We put in a pot. Just easy. Salt, pepper. But I left it there and I forgot about it. I was like, oh shoot, I gotta go check on that.
oh, you just left it like boiling?
Yeah, but earlier.
Did you make a sofrito?
I'll make some fried, some good.
Oh,
I need that. All right. Talk to me.
I don't even remember what we were talking about, to be honest. Um, Poopy diapers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Well,
you no.
I
It's
was
funny
changing
though.
him, feeding him like when he was first born,
Hmm.
because like my sleeping habits reverted to the way they used to be, like over time. So like towards the end of November, I was staying up until like three o'clock in the morning. By the middle of January, I was up until like 5. So like I would just be watching TV or playing video games, and then I would just see him over crying. So I would just like pick him up, feed him, change his diaper, put him back to sleep, so my wife could get like a solid,
Hmm.
because she'd be sleeping like 2 3 hours and have to wake up and feed him again, and sleep like
Hmm.
2 or 3 hours, wake up, feed him again. And when
Hmm.
I did that, she'd go to sleep at like 10, and he'd fall asleep at 10, and then I'll feed him around like 1 or 2, and then the next time he was hungry was like 4. So
They
she
would
got to
beat them.
sleep at least like um,
Hmm.
10 to 4, which seems like terrible, but that's like 6 hours straight. And then I would start going to, and she'd like tell me to go to sleep. I'm like, I can't. This is
Hmm.
just how I used to be.
Hmm. That's funny. Yeah, like be like you mean like stay up late, do your thing.
Yeah,
Except this time around, you can do your thing, but also like you can. But it kind of
yeah,
worked out
yeah.
well.
Because
That's not even that's beautiful. I'm telling you, that's
yeah,
beautiful.
because it was like I would probably sleep 5 to 11,
Hmm.
waking up a little bit to help or whatever. Maybe like I'd wake up at like 7 and feed him to a little bit
Hmm.
so she could sleep in.
Yep. No,
But
that's dope.
it's the timing is weird because it's like we could take shifts, but she also wants to do everything.
Yeah. I
And
hear
then
that.
like I tried to help, but sometimes it's helpful.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah,
I think as long as you try, bro, I think that's beautiful. To be honest with you, just because I think for me it was just kind of nature too. Like nature just kicked in, and I'm like, okay, this is where I step in, and it's like you do whatever you can, you want to, right?
yeah,
But I know there's other in other situations where there's a struggle bus of like stepping up and being that support system for mom or for wife, to get the or just even processing the consideration, right? Like, oh wait, there's what I mean, like not leaving it just on her.
yeah,
So and then schedules, that's another thing too, because sometimes parents do want to help, and because of like the way the structure of their schedule works, it doesn't happen, right? So usually one parent usually takes more of like the shorter end of the stick and not the other.
yeah,
But the fact that you guys were able to do it as a team, that's a big
yeah. I
thing.
mean, now she's mostly doing it all the time. There was a time, I don't know when it occurred, but like there was a random like might have been like January or December where she was like, "You don't need to really do that anymore. I can do it."
Yeah. Okay.
Which is like okay, but I kind of felt bad, but I just like if that's what you want, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but she's with them all day. Like she
Hmm.
works in the
Right.
same building as them, which is hard for her because like it's a Montessori school and they're trying to teach him Montessori ways, even though he's an infant. So like
Right. You
they're
know.
trying to get him on a schedule, and she just is like, well, if he's crying, I'm in the next room. I can hear him crying. It just hurts me.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. Like she says, it's
Gotcha.
hard.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because she wants to go and see
it's
what he
going
needs.
against her nature. Exactly, it's going
Correct.
against her natural nature.
Yeah, that is hard. That's tough.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like, yeah.
it's it's an experience. I like it. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. I've never understood why people always said you're going to have kids and you're going to lose everything, or your life's gonna suck and all that stuff.
I can understand all of those perspectives because
I don't
like
know.
I in the well I think yeah, no, it's hard, it's hard. I think there's no excuses, right? Like excuses
Yeah,
is not, but there's a lot of factors that play into role of why I can understand people's reasoning of, bro, they just don't know any better. Or right, like I'll put this out there. I feel like when you become a parent, there's always that fork that you're constantly gonna hit. You could either take the easy way out and settle for less and be mediocre, right? Or you
yeah,
can take the other way where you gotta dig in within and like, and then you realize that you can go above and beyond, right? And then it becomes just that becomes who you are about, or the kind of parent that you're about, or you can be the other parent who still has a hard time growing up. You know what I mean? And there's still the what's important or the priorities is still, and I think I had a little bit of that, like growing up slowly. You know what I mean? Like there's times I wanted to go drink or do other things. You know what I mean? Not leave my kid, but like still want to do other things, if that makes sense.
yeah. Like I get it because there's times like I just um he went to his doctor's appointment and he stayed home with me because it was my day off.
Mhm.
My wife went back to work at like
Mhm.
maybe 11, and he was with me. And it was one of the times where when he's with me, he just always wants to be with me. He doesn't want to sleep. He doesn't want to eat. He doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to
Mhm.
do anything. And when he's with my wife, he'll eat. He'll lay down. He'll play. But whenever he's with me, he just wants me to hold him and play with
Mhm.
him nonstop.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like he'll start falling asleep. I'll lay him down. I'll turn on my Xbox, and then he's awake 30 seconds
And
later.
then you're like,
And I'm
oh
just like,
my
dude, I
god,
just want
yes.
to play video games, man. It's
That's
like
exactly it. All
like, yeah,
right.
you were just asleep. Why aren't you
That's
still asleep? And then he just looks at me, he laughs, and then he'll get frustrated that I'm not picking him up. But then if
yeah.
I don't hold him the exact way he wants to be held,
Oh my goodness. All
like
right.
when he's really really tired, and I'm just like laying on my bed sitting up,
yeah.
and I hold him like here,
Yeah.
he just doesn't want it. If I'm
No,
standing up holding him the
he's
same
cool with
exact
that.
way, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. The motion is so fun. Or I'd be
Yeah,
walking him around, but I'm like, yo, I'm kind of got to tie. Let me sit down real quick. I'll still hold you, but let me
yeah,
sit
and
down.
then
And
he
then
just
they'll
gets
be like,
mad.
I'm
Yeah,
like, bro,
I'm
come
like,
on.
dude, like I know I'm tall. It's like a 3 foot difference from me sitting down to me standing up, but like
No, it's
I'm standing still.
that's a universal universal thing, just like that poop that you were talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
Every parent knows
yeah.
all these.
But
uh,
he watches The Simpsons with my wife. It's
that's
hilarious.
that's funny. He
Yeah, she'll
doesn't
just
understand it yet, but
he just he's just like looking at it,
yeah,
watching it.
like trying to figure out what the hell
Yeah,
is that. Yeah,
but it's how much smarter he's getting every day is amazing because like
yeah,
when he first started going to school, he's just an infant, three
yeah,
months old, just
yeah.
turned 3 months old. Doesn't really know what's going on. Just went in the car, went down. He handled it very well. Like he wasn't fussy at the school.
Yeah.
He's a naturally happy baby and he
R-
loves everybody. So like that's good. Try to
That's a
keep that
big
on.
thing, bro. That's
Yeah,
a big thing.
yeah.
Trust.
Try to keep that. I'm gonna try to keep that for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, but like the more he's gone there, you can tell like I think it's because he's around other infants, and the other infants are he's the youngest one, so you have an
Okay.
infant that's a couple months older than him.
Mhm.
That when he first started going there, she could pick things up and do that, and then
Mhm.
like in a couple weeks he was able to do that,
Yeah.
and then she in a couple weeks was able to crawl because she saw another baby crawl, and that
Mhm.
baby started to
No.
walk because they saw another one walking. So I
You're
think
spot on. You're
yeah,
spot on. Like kids need
yeah,
that. I think that's why my youngest each time
has
w-
been more advanced than the one
than
before.
the one before,
Yeah,
bro. Because it's like their nature to just want to be part of the
yeah. So
thing and survive.
he's I think maybe in a month he'll probably be crawling
Yeah.
because he's almost there. He just doesn't know how to.
The
Yeah,
motion, right? The
yeah.
movement.
But in maybe 2 weeks he'll be sitting up by himself. I think
yeah. That's awesome.
if I was a betting man, I would do that.
What how often do you see your mom? Do you get to see your mom a lot and
Um,
whatnot?
nah, I'm so tired. I went there
Yeah.
for Easter. Went there maybe 2 weeks before that, like right after my birthday,
Yep.
and then before that maybe like a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I just started a new job and I just
Yeah. So
work
yeah,
home, work
how,
home.
I hear that, bro. And it's and you'll realize too that it's
Yeah,
seasons, because as he gets older, you'll be able to do different things or more things, more practical to move around.
it's just
Uh,
going all the way to Hudson, right?
yep.
And it's just
That's
too much. And we both have 2 days off. I
yep.
usually have Sunday, Monday off. She usually has Saturday, Sunday off. So like our only day off together is Sunday, and it's like
Hmm.
we both just want to not do anything.
Right. No, I hear that. No, I hear that, bro. Like life is so busy, like
Yeah,
you're always on the move or doing something, and when you have time to rest, you just wanna rest or
yeah.
chill.
When when he's older,
Yep.
I mean
Yes.
they could come here to visit, but they
Yep.
don't have the means to do that.
Mm, I hear that. How you liking your new job? Is that good? Is that working out good?
Oh yeah, it's better, dude. It's so better, dude. So like,
I'm happy. What made you make the move?
well,
I'm
okay,
glad you finally
yeah.
did.
Well, so it's a long story. So I took family leave. Massachusetts has, I don't know if Maine has it. Massachusetts
No,
has
but
family
yeah, yeah,
leave.
yeah. I was glad
So
about that. Yeah.
we get 8 to 12 weeks off, right? It has to be
Mhm.
approved by your employer and then approved by the state.
Mhm.
And it's usually a monetary thing or how long you've been working thing to be approved by the
Mhm.
state. The employers, I think they just generically approve things.
Mhm.
It gets sent to HR and they generically approve it. So I had paid leave originally from November 1st to December 27th. And then at the beginning of December, I extended it from December 22nd till um, January 22nd or 23rd. I don't know the exact date, but like the
Mhm.
20th of January to be
Yep.
easy. Uh, I really didn't want to go back to Five Below.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like not wanting to go back. And like beginning mid of January, they sent me a letter saying that my approved wasn't approved or whatever. Like it was like I need to send something to a company that handles off. What's the word? Not handles it. Administers the approval. And then when I send that to them, or if I don't send that to them, then they determine whether it's approved or unapproved time off. Right. So back in November, I sent the birth certificate to the company. Then they just wanted more stuff like, oh, well, you got the birth certificate. Now you got to send approval from the state. I'm like, you guys aren't even administrating any of this stuff. So go get
Yeah.
out of my face. Right. Um, I sent the approval notices to the HR guy. He's like, the state doesn't administer approval. This company does. And then I contacted the state agency that handles it. And they're
Yeah.
like,
The paternal stuff.
he
Yeah.
he's mistaken because they approved your leave, so and we administer it. They're not paying you anything. You're getting paid by the state to take this leave.
Right.
So
That's crazy.
I just kind of let them let me go
Yeah.
so that in a couple months I can do my move of suing them and taking from them to give
Mm.
me more.
Mhm.
Because if so, the way I see it is it was approved, right?
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
was approved by somebody. That person either had the authority through Five Below to approve it, or it was just automatically approved by the state.
Yeah.
And if it was automatically approved by the state, then I probably can't really do anything because it goes against company policies and all that stuff. But if it's approved by someone at Five Below, then that means they're not following state guidelines or state
Mhm.
rules, which means I could probably get a house off of them.
Mhm. Yeah. No, it's just silly. I mean, first of all, I feel
Yeah,
like
it's dumb.
yeah.
It took me so like all of January, I was applying for jobs, looking for jobs,
Yeah.
and like I did like maybe 3 or 4 interviews, and nobody called me
Called
back.
you back
Yeah,
right
and I'm
away.
like, nobody did. And
Right.
then I it's weird how this worked. I was complaining to my wife in Walmart. I was like, I wasted so much time at Five Below, where like just trying to climb the management structure and just get a better career off of it, and now I can't even get like an interview. Like I applied for a similar type of store. Like
Y-
imagine like
Yeah.
if Ocean State Job Lot Five Below had a baby. I
Yeah.
applied for a store like that, right? Went into the interview, felt like I crushed it. Like if I was the one conducting the interview, I would be like, yo, I'm hiring this guy. He has all this experience, whatever.
On
I
the
get
spot.
an email like 2 days later that they moved on. And
Mm-hmm.
then I looked on their job posting maybe like 3 weeks later, say they were still hiring for the same position. I'm like, this is BS.
Yeah.
So
Yo, that's funny.
so that that week that it was really, really cold, like negative like 50 degrees, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I had like I had a phone interview. No, I had an interview with Santander on
Mm-hmm.
Friday.
Okay.
On my way to Santander, I get a phone call from another company that I scheduled an interview right before. So I did a quick phone interview before that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, like I'm just like I'm probably not gonna get these, but I did the interviews anyways. And then Monday, I had another phone interview,
Yep.
and they got back to me that Friday
Mm-hmm.
to
That
offer
same
me
way.
the job. And then they're like, you can start on Tuesday. So like February, I think it was St. Valentine's Day. That following Monday, I got a offer from Santander, and then the other bank company,
Yeah.
but it was less than what I was making for this other company. And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing about the company I'm working for now, um, there's pretty much no corporate.
Okay.
So like I'm the assistant facility manager, then there's a facility manager. It's just
Mm-hmm.
us two working.
Okay.
Like today,
Gotcha.
he's just there by himself,
Oh
but it's
wow.
just us two there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then there's I don't know what her actual position is, but it's the lady above him,
Okay.
and then the person above her is the owner.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
the line of communication is like
Yeah.
there's no corporate bureaucracy. It's like
Yeah.
there's something going on in the company. The owner straight up telling us like this is how we're going to do it. There's
Yeah.
no guesswork or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
And
dope.
yeah, and majority of the people working for that company have worked there for like decades.
Oh, for real?
So I'm like, okay, they got all these people working here for that long.
They it must be good to work
Yeah.
for them or
And then
decent.
when I started actually doing the workload, I'm like, it felt kind of guilty because I'm used to like having like such a heavy workload that need to be get done all the time and no
Yeah,
stopping. And it's
that's
just
crazy.
really slowed down to like, okay, we're gonna come in and your training is gonna take 6 weeks.
So
Just make sure when it's time you get
get ready.
everything right. We're not gonna rush you through this.
You just gotta be ready
Yeah,
when
so
the
like the
time
whole
comes.
culture of it seems better.
So much better.
Yeah.
They're not trying to enslave you and get every single sweat from you. Sweat.
Yeah, it's like my job is to um, lease storage units,
Okay, gotcha.
which I
That's what I was gonna
which
ask you. I
yeah
was like, yo, what
yeah
do you guys do though?
which I'll get a commission off of,
Oh shoot.
but that's on top of my hourly. The commission is not too much,
No,
but it's
but it's
stacked.
still like, but
Yeah,
you're
so like
saying like it's still like
I'm getting a little bonus for
it's
doing what
it's
I'm supposed
like
to be doing.
it's like yeah, it's like yeah, it's like rewarding you just for doing your job, and
Well,
then if
it
you
creates a
do
little bit
good,
of
you just get a
ambition.
little bit,
Yeah,
right? It's just like a little here, take a piece of gum, or
yeah,
probably not a piece of gum, but like take
yeah,
something,
yeah.
just like
So
that's
my
crazy.
base pay already was more than it was at
At
Five
the
Below,
other joint,
right?
yeah,
Um, and then they gonna give me a review. I think in May after 3 months, which I would get. There's $1,000 sign on bonus, so I'll get
yes,
500 then, and then in
and
six
then
months I get another $500,
yeah, yeah,
and then I'll probably get a raise too along with that.
yeah.
So it's
What?
not like it's not bad, and um, we get a like you can just tell from the people who are renting in that place, like the facility, where they treat the people good. They're not like like I don't know if you ever had storage before.
No, but I kind of understand. I think the nature of like
I've had
customer
it.
customer
Like
service to also back in the day where it's almost like people think they're doing you a solid, so they just treat you however, like they give you
yeah, yeah,
whatever. You
yeah.
just, you know what I mean? Like, right, this time they're treating you as a client or as a, you know what I'm saying? Like
Well,
the
it's
customer service
so
probably good. Not you, but I'm saying your
yeah.
company to
Well,
to your clients.
what the facility manager says all the time when people complimenting it, he's like, "Thank you, but like we're not doing anything out of the ordinary. It's just the bar has been set so low by
Mm-hmm.
other companies,
Mm-hmm.
so we're just doing the basics. Like we're
Yeah.
making sure the facility's clean.
Yep.
Um, Pricing wise, we're
Mm-hmm.
going off. It's a little bit less than what the street value would be, and like a lot of storage facilities, they'll get you into a deal, and then in a couple months they're raising you like $100 extra.
That's
Where
crazy.
this one, I think after 8 months, it might go up 10% maybe. If the street value increases, they might raise it a
Yeah.
little bit. But there's people. There was this Ukrainian guy who wanted to like see if he was getting a good deal on his unit, which he was like renting kind of like one of the larger ones,
Mm-hmm.
and he was paying I think like one like $1,200 maybe.
Okay.
The street value was like $1,700,
Oh wow.
and like when I told him, I'm like, your rent is higher than when you got it, but like at the same time, like if you were to come back and we were to rent this back to you, you'd be paying like $400 more because it's just the
Yeah.
increase in value of it.
Yeah.
But because you're already
Correct.
locked in, you're locked in.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's no
Now,
rush to push
n-
products on people. There's no like
now, do the
sense of
clients need
urgency.
to? Do they take it away like off property, or they all gotta use it there, or you just have it there? You
It's
know,
inside.
inside. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like an inside storage facility. You go in, it's
Yeah.
all temperature control. It's really cool. It's like
It,
55 degrees inside all the time.
oh, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah,
So the units are there. They
yeah.
don't move. Oh, gotcha.
No.
What do people use it for?
If you're moving, you have too much. Like I got a unit myself, a
Yeah.
smaller one, just because I got all this baby stuff now. So I need to
Yeah.
like make space for stuff that I don't use.
Yeah. Now, do
So
people run like businesses out of them or not? You guys don't
uh,
offer
uh,
that. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah,
I
there's
heard of it. I was like, oh shoot, I didn't
I
realize
noticed a
I could see
couple
why people would do
people
that.
have it as their business address listed,
Correct.
which I'm not sure if they can do, but I've noticed it.
Yeah.
The facility you can't get access to it after 8 p.m.
Yeah, it has to be during while people are there, right? Like whatever
Um,
business they do or transaction
well,
has
no,
to be
so the
during that
office
time.
hours are like 9 to 6. The
Okay.
building is open 7 to 8. So there's access, and it's closed Sunday. So
Yeah, okay.
there's access when the office is not open, but for like security reasons to stop like mischief, it's just closed
Yeah.
overnight. So people aren't going in there just like hanging out and
Yeah,
not.
I know. Yeah, liability, all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
because people try to live in units
Well, that's
sometimes and like yeah.
what I know. That's what I was saying. Like, I didn't know what kind of like, yeah, what kind of services you allowed there. Is it just storage?
Movers, like so if you're a mover you could probably rent
Yeah,
out a unit and claim it
yeah,
as this is where it is. There's people who get like stuff shipped there because that's where they have their units. Like there's one guy who gets waffle mix. He like
yeah,
supplies
yeah,
hotels with waffle mix and he
yeah,
just kind of keeps it there. And then there's another guy with I don't know if he's a distributor or what part of the company he is, but C4 energy drinks.
yeah, yeah,
He has a unit there where he'll just get shipments of energy drinks and he'll just put it in his unit and take it out. But majority of it is for people who just have too much stuff or they're
yeah,
moving, so they just need to store stuff while they're
yeah.
in between.
That makes sense. That's not
Yeah.
bad,
But I like it. My wife's noticed the difference in my personality. You know.
bro. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But it adds up, right? Like, and I'm sure you see it more clearly now after like being in a little this little world, right, where it's like paradise with your child, your family, priorities, what life, like
Yeah.
life is more beautiful than to be stuck in this system forever. Like there has to be something different or better, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is, this is the beginning of a new journey, bro. It's dope. Either you
It's
get
amazing.
valued and you get valued. Come on, that's dope.
Yeah, I mean, everyone I've worked with at this new company seemed to give me the impression that I'm doing a good job. The thing that I didn't like towards the end of me working at Five Below, like, is we kept getting new people in, and with every new batch of like new managers and new
Yeah,
district managers, it always seemed like I was the burden.
yeah,
Like, oh, you're getting this guy, whereas I didn't really feel appreciated, right?
gotcha,
Because
gotcha.
like you got to think, last year, remember I was complaining I was running
Yeah,
the store by myself.
yeah,
I ran it from October till June.
right.
Right towards the end of it, I was having really good numbers and all that stuff in. And then like again, like I got a new district manager, and then I got a new store manager, and the new store manager seemed like a nice lady, but at the same time, like she seemed lazy. Like she was just kind of relying too much on other people to do her work for her.
Right, right, right.
And like I was like, thank God I'm having a child, so I'm not going to be there during Christmas time, because if I
Yeah,
was there at Christmas time, I would probably just walk out.
yeah, yeah.
Because
So
I
yeah,
almost did
yeah,
that like 3 years ago and
yeah,
last year and the year before. And like if I just have to do it again, like they're just gonna be like,
yeah.
well, this is the problem, it's you and all that stuff.
Right. No, bro. I just,
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
just
annoying.
so, you know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing just to know
Yeah.
that's where you were at. You know what I mean? It's just like, forget that. That was just one step that got you closer to where you are. And I mean,
And now say things don't work out at my new job in a couple months or whatever, like we have to part ways on my reviews because I'm not performing to standards or whatever.
hmm
Um, I will at least have the experience
hmm
of signing people up for leases.
Yep.
Because one of my goals was to become like a property manager,
Oh, yeah.
to work
Big
in like
time.
apartment building and just do that. So this gives me kind of a foot in that direction.
Yeah. Or like
Whereas
a
working
good
at
idea. Yeah.
yeah, whereas working at in retail, the one thing it gave me was a sense of like urgency,
hmm
but also like time management.
hmm
And then working in the kitchens, that's all time management and like working together.
Yep.
But like the one thing I can't stand about retail is the false sense of urgency and importance. They make
Yeah.
it seem like if you don't do something in this store, the world is going to go to the apocalypse tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that serious.
Yeah. We just
Yeah.
like to believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. Where at this new place, there's percentages and goals we have to achieve. And when
Right.
we get those goals and percentages, we get a bonus or a
hmm
commission from that.
Yep.
Right. And with the commission added onto each sale of unit, um, they're giving me a little bit of drive. But it's like the commission is nothing. It's $10 a unit. So it's not like they're making it so I'm living off of commission.
Right.
They're just giving me an incentive to be more persuasive
Yep.
instead of just being like, okay, you can get it or not get it. Like what it was
Right.
at Five Below. Like, oh, you can buy this or not buy this. Whereas this, I can try to sell you
Yeah.
like,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Yeah. No, but that's cool though because like I feel like it's probably something that you might want to stand behind in the sense of like pride, good sense of pride. If your product is good, why not?
yeah,
But if you're yeah, if you yeah,
yeah. The company prides itself on a clean facility,
that's what I'm saying. So
right? We get
you're good.
compliments for it being a clean facility,
hmm
security,
Yeah.
and just like general basic customer service.
Courtesy,
Just best.
right? Respect.
The, so like a lot of companies just don't have generic customer service. They just
hmm
pretty
It's
much
just
they give you whatever you want, right? They're not really working with you. They're not trying to help you. They're just
yeah,
catering into whatever your needs are. They're not really
yeah.
providing customer service.
Right.
They're trying to provide false customer satisfaction.
Correct.
And then they base their whole like company and sell stock based off how the public perceives it. And that's why
Right.
every store you
Yeah.
go into, they want you to take a survey. But what they don't tell you is with those surveys is if you're not giving the highest possible rating, you're giving a zero.
hmm
And on the other side of that, when we were told to give people like try to influence them to give a survey, they're like, Tell them to give us a 10. Tell them to give us a 10. Tell them to give us a 10. Like then they're taking away the actual authenticity of the
Yeah,
server.
of course.
So
Yeah.
it's so fake, and eventually it's just going to come crushing down.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't see that.
Yeah. But have you ever worked in like
I
a
worked at places
store?
where we had to rate them. I've had, but I never had anybody tell me, like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
more of like, and it was in the health department, so I don't know how all of that stuff works, but I was pretty honest, you know?
Yeah. So
They
if you
did.
gave an honest review, like
Yeah.
say you come to Michael Monroe's bodega, right?
Yeah.
And you gave, and I'm like, oh, can you do the survey for me? And it's say customer service is a 10, quality of the items is a 7,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say variety is a 4,
Mm-hmm.
right? You pretty much gave me a 0.
Right.
Even
Gotcha.
though even though the most important thing would have been the customer service, and I gave you a 10,
Yeah.
and things that are really out of our control,
Yeah. Yeah.
they rank higher. That was the most annoying thing with working in
Yeah. That's
retail.
weird. That's
Yeah,
weird.
because it's not even, and that's just for
Huh.
people in boardrooms to say like, this is how
Yeah.
well my company is doing.
Right. No, that's so weird.
Yeah, it makes no sense. They do surveys, but the
But
surveys
those
aren't
are
really.
the but that's a corporate though. That's
Yeah,
all those corporations or any big chain company of any field of any
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. It's annoying,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not in that world anymore, and I'm
No,
happy.
but that's awesome, bro. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. What are you thinking? Let me see,
What have you been up to? Are
bro.
you a barber, or are you just making videos for
No,
barbershops?
I'm apprenticing for a for to be a
Did you
barber.
go to Did you go to school?
No, that's what I'm doing there at the barber shop,
Oh, okay.
apprenticing there. So it's gonna take me longer, like 2,500 hours. So
Did
longer stretch, but I don't have to wait to do all those hours to get paid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're
I
skipping school, but you're learning. You're doing an apprenticeship.
on the
So when
field,
when you're finished,
correct.
you're
It's
getting
gonna take
actual experience instead of the school experience,
correct
which
because
people
I
just
think
waste their time with stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was like. Yo,
That's
I'm not that kind of person, but the opportunity was perfect, right? Because there's somebody who's willing to like say, "Yo, I'll take you under my wing and let
Is
me
he
show
your
you how."
barber?
Yeah, he's my boss. Yep.
No, did he just assume you know how to cut hair because you're
No,
Latino?
we've known each other, but he says that people do assume that we'll be all right. We gotta fake it till we make it.
Yeah. He's
No,
like
he's
you're
dope.
just
He's
there.
dope.
You're just sitting there one day, just talking to your
And like
barber,
yeah,
and someone was like, "Hey, I'll get a number 3," and then
yeah,
you're like, "I don't work here."
bro. I don't even be like give you a number zero all around. No, but I'm learning. You know, I've done a few haircuts. Um, but it's like with everything else that we have going on with the kiddos in the school. It gives me a flexibility or a flex schedule or flexibility to have a flex schedule.
How many hours
Um,
have you done?
I've done, I don't know, I want to say like 1,000.
We're
You
talking
know,
like it's community service. Like how many hours you done?
right, 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 right.
No, that's dope.
But it's different though because it's like I'm basing it more not so much the hours, but like the progress or the process that
Yeah,
I'm able to like reach each point, and cut a hair or like how to shave, how to use the razor, or like with the scissors, just knowing like how to cut longer hair. So or even how to take clippers apart. He grabbed me from the bottom. He's like, dude, you're gonna learn the stuff that they don't even teach you at school. So one day so the goal is that whenever I'm done there, I can go my own way and then start my own shop. That's the end goal, right? Um,
you
as
learned
far as my
honestly.
education with him. Now we don't have to part ways, right? Like that's
Yeah,
not even. But he
if
wants
you
to.
could, like you could.
He wants me to make sure that one day I'll be all right. Like
How
when
far
this
do
is
you
said and
live
done,
from the barbershop?
like 5 minutes, bro. Two
Oh,
minutes, three
it's down
minutes.
the street.
Yeah, literally.
Do you actually live in like a town, or is it
Yep,
kind of just like
small
a
town.
village?
Yep, small town.
Yeah, there's not room for two barbershops in small towns. A
No,
lot like
no, 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 no.
what's the
But
demographics look like?
yo, it's crazy because people travel lots to come. Like, yo, the most 2 hours. I think there's a client that travels 2 hours to come to our spot
Are
because
they
there's no other barber shop that gives the fresh fades, right? Like
are they
it's
all Europeans?
uh, no, there's a little bit of everything. Some
Because if they're all Europeans, like the thing with us white people is we really don't care about our hair so much. So
no,
like you could
these
give us
guys,
a shitty haircut and you'd
but
be like,
that's
yeah,
what
that's
he
whatever.
did though. That's
Yeah,
what he did. He raised a standard or the bar
yeah,
that there's no other barber shop doing that. So it's like, yo, if you want that fade. you gotta go
Yeah,
to Nico's Cuts because there is nothing else like that, right?
yeah,
But on top of that, like just the culture and the experience. So if you are a black person, there's no other black person that's gonna cut your hair better than the black person that's there at the top shop,
that's
right?
exactly.
So, and if you're a white boy, yo, nobody's gonna give you a fresh cut than the black guy who knows how to cut hair, right? Um, so on and so forth. And also just is I think it's what you were saying, like he has he has raised the bar to a standard of like, yo, people just want to be part of that or want to come there because it's just an environment where it's like it's welcoming, right? Like you're the star of the show today. Like it's about you, right?
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if you've been to any barbershop, but like you know how it goes. Sometimes you walk in places where yo, you don't even feel welcome there, right? Like you don't even want to
Um,
sit down because they know
that's
they're
kind
the
of how
people
I
they
felt like
know.
D-Rocks.
Yeah, right. Like
Towards the end of like when I stopped going there, like when I
yeah,
moved out of Hudson to Marlboro. Like I used
yeah.
to go to D-Rocks all the time and just whatever, but it
Hmm.
was like towards the end, they kind of switched from just being a
That
barbershop
new
like Reese's.
that
Like
new
remember
barber
like
shop.
Reese's in Framingham?
Yeah,
It seemed like Reese's in Framingham, and then they kind of wanted to be like seem more upper class, and you have to make
yeah,
an appointment and more of a salon. And I'm just like,
yeah,
kind of ruins the experience. But at the same time, that's just kind of how most barbershops around here are now. Like you have to make an appointment. You can't just walk in and get your hair cut, um, which sucks because like I needed my hair cut around my birthday,
yeah,
and I just couldn't cut it, so I just shaved it off. I was like, all right,
yeah.
whatever. I couldn't get an appointment, so I just went bald.
And that's kind of the dilemma here too, because he's booked out like at least 2 months, right? 7 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, and it's
Yeah,
just
it's
him by himself. So that's where I
he
would
needs
come
more
in
people.
and I would
Is it
come in
just him
and
by
do.
himself?
He's had one more other barber in and out, like you know what I mean, like
Okay.
always transitioning one. Um, but like it takes a because once they reach that point of like yo, they're just booked every single day, then it's like they just can't take anymore, right? So
Yeah.
that's where I would come in and just kind of pick up that flow of the walk-ins and slowly start creating my clientele and all that good stuff. But bigger
Yeah.
than that, you know, like the barbershop is probably going to be that vehicle that's going to carry the rest of the creativity because now it's like legitimate. There is something to offer, such as a haircut or a product, but behind that, we can base everything else that we want to do or from there, branch off from there,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I mean, there seems like there's more than enough clientele for a bunch of people. And it
Oh
seems
yeah,
like he's probably been trying this experiment
yeah,
for a while and people just can't take it.
correct. And
But
I think
he's
it's
open
just
enough
finding
to help people.
correct. I think that's kind of where he's gotten to a point where it's like okay, he needs to build a team, but he learned it has to be the right team, right? The right kind of people to work with, and also just kind of now that he kind of has a good idea of that, now he can kind of ride on like the next step of the journey,
Yeah,
which
that
is
was
him
kind of.
being the teacher and entering a window of him becoming more of a mentor type of thing than just a barber, you know?
Do you know Gamma?
Yes, yes, yes,
That
yes.
was like that. Yeah, that was like his problem when he had his own shop in Marlboro. Is that he was the only one there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Waldo started helping towards the end of his shop.
Okay.
But like when you're the only one in the barber shop, all your money is going to making sure the barbershop stays open
Right.
because there's only a certain amount of people's hair you can cut. Whereas you bring in like two or three other people,
Mm-hmm.
now all the cuts are going like the chair fees or whatever they're called
Yeah.
are
Correct.
going to the barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you actually can pay people and you actually have money on the outside,
Yeah.
which you know,
Yeah. No, there's definitely as far as profession, you know, that's the other thing too. It's similar to you, bro. Like just it's like when you try to explain it, it's hard to understand it, but you realize, okay, this is all there's something bigger moving the pieces along here. I just gotta make sure I take the opportunities as they come. Because prior to that, bro, our schedules had never lined up. So we talked about it. I helped him put the floors on it. You know what I mean? Like I saw his transition of being a barber to having his barber shop, right? And
yeah,
him running his show and what that took to get him to that point. Um, and then schedules, like me and my lady having the kiddos, or us always working night, or or me always working the night or whatever. And then finally lined up. He had gone through other barbers, all that whole the stuff that can happen when you work with people and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean,
But
people
then
have their own.
finally, I was like, yo, I think time has come. I think I'm ready. Like schedules, I think is gonna line up, and I also felt like I kind of wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with myself now. Now that my lady has given the flexibility for me to have time and kind of figure out what I want to do, I'm like, okay, what is there, right? So, like, yo, I love people. I would just show up to the barbershop just to hang out and stuff, at times. So I'm like, yo, this is
Might
probably
as well
what I
get
need.
paid while you're there.
Right. So I'm like, all right, I think I have the time to commit to it. And I think that was the biggest thing. Like, I'm committed now.
Well,
So that,
even if from a business standpoint, even if you could work 3 days of the week, right? You could
hmm
give an honest, like let's say 10 hours, 3 days a week, which is probably
hmm
asking way too
that's
much.
probably
But
what, no, but that's probably what it's gonna end up being for a
right,
little while, right?
that's 10, that's 30 hours where you're cutting hair,
hmm
adding people, adding income into the place.
Correct. Correct.
Where I can't speak for it because I don't really know the situation where the other barbers were.
hmm
They probably felt the need that they had to work every single day nonstop, and they probably just never set the boundaries that way. And maybe even the guy had that expectation too because he was doing it. He's like, if I'm doing it, you're coming into my shop, you should be able to do it too. And but that's just me guessing. I don't know how
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
crazy. No, he's a
but
good.
it could have been like that, and then he could have matured more. Like, you know what? Like, I just need people here.
Hmm
But some people just they want to do stuff and then they can't do the workload. They're not built for it.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything too
Well,
because
some
like
people are just built different. Like I can
well,
just
I
work.
think that's
Yeah,
crazy. I think that's kind of what it is too, and it kind of it's almost like you gotta be a go-getter, right? Like you gotta be able
yeah.
to like
I've
because
never
technically
been
it's
much of a
his shop
go-getter,
and
but
he's
yeah,
my boss, but like I'm my own person. Like it's up to me whether I want to do this or
you
not.
have to get
Okay,
your
give me one
clientele.
second, all right?
All right.
All right, my lady just got home. I have to go unlock the door.
Uh,
Uh, but so that's what I've been doing, and then with that being said, like I've been networking with Jay Roddy from Hudson with the filming, with editing. He's doing editing, so I started doing the
is he not
filming.
rapping anymore?
Oh, he is. He's still doing that,
That's
but
good.
he like a side hustle.
Yeah. So what he's focusing on like filming and editing.
Yep.
Okay.
His
Yeah, I seen your film, not your film, your little cuts, and I'm like, you know what, this is nice. I can see he's putting in work into it, working
yeah,
on different transitioning. Every one looks better than the previous one, which is
correct,
good,
correct.
which is all you can ask for yourself.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of like this whole thing of just being creative, but with a purpose, or not even a purpose, but with like a good reason behind it, right? And that's the brand, or just showing what we're doing, like nothing out of craziness, like nothing to aspire to, but more of like what we're going through as the process of.
Well, you like doing it, right?
Right,
You
that's what
always
it
like
is.
editing stuff, so to you, it could be just like a hobby, and some people get lucky and their hobbies become careers.
Correct,
Like
correct.
if you get good enough at editing, or the right person sees you and is like hires you just edit a couple videos a
Yeah,
week for them,
yeah,
that could just be an easy
bro.
income.
And then that's the whole thing, because I feel like for me, it's like I've always been a more about like the network, right, or the
Yeah.
connections, or how can we like do it. So I'm like, yo, the editing thing was finally like an open door for me to reach out and say, bro, let's collab. Let me, I got some work for you. Like you trying to do this, and he's like, yo, I'm all about it. So I'm like, yo, let's do it. So it helps him, helps us. I can do my filming. He'll do our editing, and then
So he's
eventually,
editing and you're filming.
correct, correct.
Okay. I thought you were doing the editing
No,
too.
no, no. He's doing the editing
All
because
right.
time, like it's just a
Yeah.
management of time, right?
It's
Like you
yeah.
realize, like
Hey.
I'm not even good at it, but like to get good, I'll probably it's gonna take me a little while. So I'm like, yo, this doesn't make sense. Like and like I've always been like, yo, we can do this as a collective. It works better that way. So I'm like, yo, I think people are starting to realize like, yo, you could either try to do it all yourself and be that person that's gonna take you forever to get to where you need to go, or you can grab people along the way and help each other go to where you need to go, right? And I think even for the barbershop, like trying to take his brand to the next level and say like, bro, like I know some people that can do this for us, like let's work together, and they don't know each other at all, but it's like this is what it's all about. I think it's never been the better time, and
Yeah.
people more open to working with other people too.
It's like was it last 2 weeks ago? Well, a week and a half ago, I ran into Louis Albino, right?
Yes, Luis, yes.
But like I never really met him in person. It's the same thing with Sean Shondusky.
Yep,
I was just
Sadowski.
at the mall one day and I just ran into him. But like technically they're fans,
Yeah, right.
but like I know these people just from interacting from doing the podcast with you now.
Right, and that's crazy. It's crazy. I know. That's how I met his cousin. Other than that, through that, like I probably would
Whose
have
cousin?
Edwin's cousin or Luis Albino, right? That's
That's his
Edwin.
cousin.
That's his cousin.
See, I knew that. I knew they were related.
Right.
Everyone
That's
told me
it.
they weren't, but yeah, they're all related. All those Puerto Ricans from
Hmm.
over are related
But yeah,
somehow.
prior to that, even like he said, like, yo, I wish I would have known you back when, but back when I probably wouldn't have, connected as much as I connected with him now because he has kids, they're grown, he's gone through stuff. You know
Yeah,
what I
he
mean?
was
Like,
getting
so,
rims for his car. He was at my
oh, that's what
work.
he was doing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so it
that's
was the day. It
crazy.
was my day off. I went to my work.
You saying hi?
Um, Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Did you go to school today?
Yes.
Good.
Have a good day.
Yes.
You get in trouble? All
No.
right, good. That's what I
Okay.
meant. It's good. We're good.
Yeah. um, yeah. So I went because I got the unit to bring. I needed to bring things over there,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I just saw him, and I was just kind of staring at him. I was mean mugging.
Yeah, you're like,
And he was mean mugging too, but it
yeah.
was like I'm
It's
mean
like,
mugging because I know who he is. He didn't really recognize me at first because I was just kind of like leaned back, and
yeah,
then when I got, I was like, I knew who you were, but
yeah.
he was in front of my work,
Okay.
meeting up with somebody to buy rims off of him. So I don't know if it's
Okay.
for his new car,
Yeah, gotcha,
and I
gotcha.
just happened to go there just to drop things off.
That's
Like he
crazy.
doesn't rent anything there; he's just there to meet up somewhere, which is kind of weird, like
Yeah,
position wise.
but that's dope though. That's
Yeah,
dope. You guys chop it up
a little bit.
a little bit. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, but it's just like just the connection just made passively.
And I and
Not,
and I
they're not
mean
really doing
that's
anything.
and that's not, yeah, and I mean that's just now, right? Like, cause again, like there's people that I've met way back that I'm just starting to kind of collab or do work with. You know what I mean? So it's like you
Yeah.
don't know how all of these connections are gonna go. How about you? How are you feeling? May I don't know how you're doing on time, but before we go, how are you feeling creative wise? Like how what are you thinking right now? Like have you tapped into like seeing or any ideas or any flows that you gotten or like any thoughts about how you
all the
moving?
all the time. I have time. I'm just lazy.
Yep, yep. I hear
So
that motivation to just like well,
like
cause
I
cause
have
now we know it's gonna take a little bit more of intention, right? Like to do stuff and to like figure
not
out
really
stuff.
because I mean I still have the same amount of time off I had before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um, but it's just like today I decided not to bring my wife to work
Okay.
and just take a nap. Like I woke
Yep.
up, brought down Raphael to the car, helped her get her stuff in.
Yep.
She went when she got there. She called me, and then I just took a nap. Right.
Yep.
I woke up. I probably slept from like 8:30 to 11.
Yeah, it's good.
Um, Normally, I would bring her to work, and I'll probably get home at like 9:30,
Yep.
and then like I would just like kind of just lazily be on my phone and just not being productive.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, same here,
But
same
I
here.
have a bunch of like notes and shit on my phone just to get stuff to do.
Yeah. Well,
Um, it's just the motivation is not there, to be
yep.
honest. Like it's starting to come back,
Yep.
and I think it's just the seasons.
Yep. No, I agree, bro. Yeah, I'm that way.
Because I
I
don't
swear
want
to
to
God.
record my podcast when she's home because she's going to be behind me taking videos
Yeah.
and all that stuff, and I just kind of
Yeah.
want my privacy while I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not the H time one. I don't mind that one because she'll just go into the room, be on the phone with
Yeah.
her family, whatever. But
Yeah.
like when I'm doing stuff by myself,
Yeah.
she always tries to sneak videos for her memories and stuff. And
It's
like I just
cute
want
shit.
the privacy. I want to be able to say whatever I want to say, and like
Mm-hmm.
not have to worry about getting slapped in the back of the head. Um,
Gotcha. No,
but it
but
really like so the last podcast I did, I think was in February. She went to work, and I just did a quick one about the NFL. Um, it only really takes me an hour and a half to do a podcast,
yeah. Yeah.
depending on how long I'm talking. Like, because my editing is it's the most like untime consuming thing ever, like the fastest streamlined thing ever. I get rid of all the background
Yeah.
noise. I then adjust the loudness so it's even throughout the whole thing,
Yeah.
and then I get rid of all the spaces.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so do you cut in between
It's so I
stuff
figured.
or
You remember how I was asking how to do that back in the
yeah.
day?
Yeah.
I figured out how to do it with Audacity, where it's just like
It does the
I,
whole thing.
yeah, I just copy
That's
the
dope.
or select the whole thing, and then I say how much I want to get rid of. So I have it down to like 0.6 of a second. Anything
Oh
longer than that
wow.
will just
Yeah.
be cut.
Yeah.
So like today, like if I was to take this audio of us,
Chopping it up and then the
and
times that I took off.
the times you took off, that would just not be there.
Yeah. That's
It would
dope.
just seem
That's
like we're
dope.
having a streamlined
That's dope.
conversation.
Yeah.
And then like, because I liked editing music and different songs and everything, but now it's just kind of like I just don't want to edit an hour and a half of just the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd
No, I
rather
hear
just
that.
try to have a flawless conversation and
Yeah.
just at
Yeah.
the end of it, because there's been some that I've done that I just deleted. I was like, this
Yeah.
isn't good. I'm not even gonna bother putting this up. And
No,
there's
I
been
hear that. Well, yeah, I was asking just because, yeah, I feel the same way. I think slowly I want to figure out like my routine and just kind of start, tackling either us getting back together or if you want to do certain topics. And if we're doing just voice or even audio, I feel like, yo, we
well,
could do
that's the same
whatever.
thing, isn't it? Voice and
Yep.
audio.
More of like,
I have a topic if you want to talk about it on my list of topics. I can
well,
give you something like,
okay.
uh, what was it? Have you ever seen Passion of the Christ?
Yes, we just saw
Okay.
that the other day. Not
Yeah,
too
I just
long ago.
watched it Friday. Okay. It is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
He saw Passion of the Christ on Friday when we saw it.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Because it was Good Friday. It makes that's when you watch it. It's Good Friday.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
What? So you don't like it?
I know like take and this is my problem with it. The only good thing about that movie is it gives you some sort of visualization to what happened during the Passion
Right.
that otherwise we're just reading and learning about that we're not seeing.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to our conversation earlier about kids and like how the changes your perspective just by
Hmm.
experiencing.
Okay.
But if you were not a Christian, let's say you were from an island, never heard anything about Christianity before,
Hmm.
and someone was like, "You need to be Christian," and just showed you that movie. There's nothing in that movie that would make you want to be Christian. There's
No.
no like even the cutscenes where it goes back to the Last Supper and his life as like a little kid or with his mom and all that stuff to make you relate more to the character.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you anything
It would make me
about
hate
the
it.
religion.
It
It
would
would
make
just
me hate Christians a little bit. Like, how? Why did they do that?
well, it wasn't. It was the Romans and what are they called? Not the Jews. They were Jewish, but the people,
Well,
I forget the name of them. The Pharisees.
yeah.
It was the Pharisees in the Rome. Well, the Pharisees kind of forced the Romans to do it.
Right, but those were the
But
same people who were waiting for the king. They just couldn't believe that he was a king because they
which but like with the context of the religion, you can see
right.
like okay, the Bible says he's God is going to like smite you with hate and like astonishment of heart and all that stuff in the Old Testament, right?
Mhm.
Which is clear if you watch the movie that, and I don't know if this is like an artistic thing, like when he's the closer he is in Jerusalem, the more people hate him, but the
Mhm.
further he gets away from Jerusalem, the more people starting to mourn.
Mhm.
So it could have just been like a curse in that city that people were just following.
Mhm.
But you couldn't like say like, okay, I'm a Christian and this is why, and not have any context of religion and show that movie because it doesn't give you any of his
I,
teachings. It's just saying it's just showing what happened to him at
gotcha,
the end
gotcha,
of it,
gotcha, gotcha,
and
gotcha.
that's what I don't like about it.
So there's no like
Yeah,
there's no direct like almost like calling to the gospel of like this is there's no explanation like yeah,
it's just
it's like
showing
you're
like
just
he
watching
sacrificed himself.
yeah. It's
It's like Jesus. It's just like the movie starts off. He's praying in the woods.
by yep,
The disciples fall asleep or whatever.
yeah.
Judas betrays him,
Mhm.
and then it's him just getting the crap beat out of him
Mhm.
for
So
2 hours,
yeah, it's almost
and then
like
it's just that.
th- they made this movie almost like for a specific kind of audience that already had some knowledge,
Yeah, so
right? Like
like if yeah, if
it's
you,
not it's not a common it's not a gospel type of message
it's
where
not
like you
gonna
need to
spread the
know what
gospel,
yeah,
and the basis of the religion is spreading the gospel.
right.
So
Gotcha.
that's more like it's, and I'm like I can't be the only Catholic in the world who feels this way about this movie. So I just looked it up, and then I just saw like a different perspective, which was the one I said earlier, which it gives you the perspective of what happened.
Yeah. What did you say?
Go upstairs soon.
Yep. No, okay. I guess I never looked at it that way because obviously
Because we're looking at it through
we
Christian
already
eyes.
knew, right? Like we
Yeah,
knew.
we know it gives us the perspective like, wow, he did all
Yeah,
that for
correct.
us. But
Yeah,
like, if you don't know
yeah,
that he did all that for us, like you don't know any
correct.
of his teaching or any
It's
of
just
that
like,
stuff.
man, why are they doing this to him? Why is he
Yeah,
going
like
through this? Like you wouldn't understand. Like, and I think even if people try to tell him, it'd be like, what? That's a long,
like
like, there's a long catch up to this point of explanation of why he's going through that, right? Like,
yeah,
there's,
you could like it would have been better. Like if I don't know if you watch any of the gospel movies that they made
mm-hmm,
where they just read the gospel and then they just had it like actors acted out in the background, but it's just someone reading it and then you just see him doing that,
correct. Yeah, I know what you're
which
saying. That
which
would
I
have,
like. I like that, but at the same time, that's terrible art. Like it's not like good. If you could blend in both of those, where
mhm,
people, I think a lot of people don't realize what Jesus actually went through, which
yeah,
is that's the really the for me the only good thing about the Passion of the Christ is it shows people what he actually went through,
yeah,
but it lacks the context. Whereas the gospel, it gives you all the context,
yeah,
but it's kind of just a visual
right.
of what happened.
Yeah, no,
There's
I
no
agree.
like artistic freedom, which you should have a little bit artistic freedom, but you could at least added this Sermon on the Mount and like, or at least start it from like Palm Sunday
Yeah,
and then bring it
all the
to
way. Yeah,
Easter,
yeah.
all the way to Easter. It just starts Good Friday
And then
and
it
it's all
shows,
Good Friday and then it's the one scene on Easter and there's nothing in between.
right.
And
Yeah.
that was only because I watched it the other day.
No, but that makes sense though. That's cool. That's cool. I
But
no, it was yeah,
which
yeah, that's wild.
to someone who is religious, I think it's important to watch. Like if you're Catholic or Christian or believe in Jesus, I think you should watch that to see what could have happened to him, which
Oh,
probably did happen to him as
yeah,
the time was going on.
yeah. I would
But
say it's one of the most intentional Easter's celebration that I've had.
intentional,
And intentional, like more of like I was already like you know what I'm saying. I was more of like
ready for Easter than ever before.
yeah, and not so much a celebration of like cultural, but the actual Easter of just reflection on Jesus and what this actually means, right? Like the real
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, mine was probably the exact opposite,
mm,
but that's a personal problem.
right. No, I would say, yeah, because before it's been more of like the cultural stuff, you know. But I think we've reached a point in our family where it's like, okay, our only way out in regards to hope is the gospel, one way or another, right? And I'm
Yeah,
not saying perfection, but just hope itself. I think that's the only thing I can lean on because
it's,
now with the kiddos and all of that in the family, it's like, okay, I want them to know hope and love. When this is one day I'm not here, for them to know there's somewhere where they can find hope.
yeah, that's the good thing about the gospel.
Hmm.
I did the cultural stuff on Easter. I had bunny
Yeah,
picture. I did
yeah,
like
yeah,
that was my wife. She made it, but like
yeah.
culturally wise, I don't mind it. But at the same time, like you have to have both. You can't just do the cultural thing
Correct. I think
and
it's
then
so.
like because it kind of just loses its meaning.
Well, I think it's been detrimental the fact that it has,
Yeah,
like, that's what I'm saying to you. I think,
Easter baskets and all that
yeah,
stuff.
or
Like
and even like not to dive too much on it, but I remember there was one year somebody asked me, like, do you know like the actual background of the Easter Bunny and all of that culturally, why they celebrate all of that and what that means and all of that. And it's pretty interesting, right?
can I
But
guess? I'm
go
just
ahead.
gonna Roman pagans celebrating the spring solstice.
I don't know what that is.
The
The
Romans, the
No, I know
Roman,
that,
the
but what
solstice, the solstice is the first day of spring.
okay.
So like how Christmas aligns with the winter solstice, which is the first day
Yeah,
of winter,
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Easter aligns with the spring solstice.
And that's why the
Not
bright
not quite,
color.
but like in the same time. So like
Gotcha.
the Roman Catholics or the early church was really into like incorporating different cultures.
Uh-huh.
So like a way they did that is they would take feasts and everything like, oh, you guys have a celebration at the end of December, we do too because Jesus was born, and that was a way for them to infiltrate.
Gotcha. Right.
So I would just assume that it's the same for Easter.
Think it has to do with like bunnies and them being just very active sexually and all that good stuff. And I
uh,
was like, oh, this is crazy, right? Like,
I don't
but
know, but that's weird. I
there's
don't
a
know the
there's
connection.
there's a
How's
little
that
bit
connect?
more. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what the connection is, but they ran me through that, and I was like, oh crap! Like I never really, because to me culturally, like when obviously, right? Like if you don't know, you don't know. You just go with the flow, right? Like when people come to America, whatever the culture is, whatever the celebration is, or like us celebrating Thanksgiving, right? The pilgrims and all of that. It's like, yo, if people really knew what that was about, it's like I don't know.
you know
Not
that
that it
never
matters so
happened.
much,
It
not
never.
much
You know that never happened.
the
The Thanksgiving, like the way it was taught to us in school, that
no, 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 but that's what I'm
like the
saying.
feast,
Like,
but like it
yeah,
just never existed. It was something invented during like the Civil War to unite the country.
I don't even
It's
know. But that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. So,
completely fake.
that's what I'm saying. So it's
Yeah,
like there's a lot of background info that we don't know, but because culturally we just adapted whatever, right? Like my family wouldn't be like, let me research this and find out what this is. No, we just go with the
with
flow, right? But I think now fast forward, right? Like just the times that we're living in, it's kind of like, yo, I kind of want to know what this, you know what I mean? Like question everything that we've been taught of, like what is actually like what do I want to stand for? What is it that I believe in, and be more intentional about it, I guess.
yeah, I agree. Especially because Easter makes no sense.
Yeah.
Bunnies,
Right,
chocolate
that's what I'm
eggs,
saying. the
like
the whole nine. I'm like, okay, or
I'm
getting
sure
baskets.
I'm sure if we went back to the initial root cause of that, it probably has to do with like the same reason why Santa Claus drinks Coca Cola.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's
It's
another
probably
one
just
of
all
those things where it's
it's
like
probably all just marketing because retail's trying
propaganda.
really
Yeah,
hard to make Easter as um, profitable as
yeah,
Christmas.
correct.
And working in retail for the 7 8 years I did,
Yeah.
Easter is a high volume like shopping. Like they're trying to get you out there to shop. So
Uh-huh.
every year that's just going to continue. Where Easter just becomes more and more like
Yeah.
a mini Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because and again, that's the world that we live in.
Well,
Like
that's just yeah, that's the
the
United States.
consumerism that we have created, like that's literally what drives everything now, right? Like,
That's yeah, that's
what can we,
USA.
what can they make us buy? Like even not even the retail, that world is one thing. Like even the internet, right? Like everything, like what man you name a car, next thing you know you open your phone and it's like yo advertising for cars, right? Like that's just what makes the world, right? Like trying to dictate what fulfills a human being or
That
what gives
happened
them
to me at
purpose.
my work, where I was talking about something with my boss, and then I went on the computer and I would just have the homepage screen open with the news, and one of the advertisements on the news
Yeah,
was what we were just talking about.
crazy, but that's what
Oh,
I'm
you know, no, okay. This is. I'm going to tell you a quick story. So
saying.
there's a guy who rents a unit there. His name is Brad Friedel, right?
Okay.
He is the second best American goalkeeper of all time,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Wow.
We never knew that. I just googled his name one day because he was trying to pay with the Barclays card, which is an English card, had an
Okay.
English license. So I was like, why does this American guy have all this English stuff? So I was thinking maybe he was a diplomat or something. Um,
Why does he have to go upstairs?
Because he's shorty. Yeah, go ahead, Michael. I'm
um,
listening.
so um, I googled his name. He's the longest ever active player in the Premier League in England,
That's
right?
crazy.
But
I don't want to.
Okay.
so but this was on a different computer. We looked it up all on a different computer. I looked it up on my phone. A couple days later, my boss just always brings him up because he just thinks it's hilarious that we didn't know who he was. He's in the like he's he played in the World Cup for the United States of America in 2002 when they lost in the quarterfinals.
Bro, I don't
They
even.
they nicknamed him the Human Wall. He's the longest ever has the longest ever consecutive starts in the Premier League of any player of all time. Right? He's
Really?
not just like a random American who went overseas and played soccer like
Right.
Terrence, right?
Yeah.
He is a bona fide like American soccer star.
Yeah.
Like if
Okay.
we had no idea who he
Yeah, I
was.
was gonna say, bro, I probably
No,
wouldn't have
no,
known
yeah,
myself either.
no idea who he was. I told my friend Louis, you know Louis, um, De Silva, I think is De Silva, the South African Portuguese kid.
Okay.
He lives in England now,
Okay.
and he's I think a Liverpool fan, and their biggest rival is Tottenham.
Okay.
And Bradley was the goalkeeper for Tottenham for a couple of
No way.
years.
Really?
So I
That's
told him like, "Yo,
crazy.
you're not gonna believe who I saw." He's like, "Oh, no way, that's incredible." And I'm like, I had no idea who he was.
Yeah. That's
So
crazy.
I clicked on like a news site or whatever, and at the top they were advertising jerseys, and they had his jersey up there,
That's crazy.
and I'm just like, this computer is not even hooked
Bro,
up to
but that's
anything.
bro, but that's what they
That's what I'm
do. Right?
saying.
Like
I'm like,
it's crazy. Crazy.
how did they know?
Yeah. Let's leave the AI. I think that's a good segue. I gotta go. But then we can dive into the next conversation we can do about the AI stuff, like the Kanye voice and
Hey,
robots and all
that's
of that.
literally that's my favorite thing right now because
So
Kanye
I
is hitting
know, but
every single
I
spot.
can't believe you like it though, bro.
No,
The
I hate it and I like it at the same
right,
time.
right, right.
I
Because it
like
gives
it
you
because
something that it's almost like impossible. They just made it possible.
well,
However,
it
it's a
just
little
shows you
scary.
how influential Kanye West was with different people's sounds and flows because he fits perfect on almost every pop song now.
Everything. Yes, yes, yes,
But
yes, yes.
also, it's terrible because of what it's going to cause in society.
It's crazy, bro. That's what I was saying to you. I'm like, yo, I don't even know what's real and what's not now, right? Like, not even like what's about to happen in the next few months with all of this.
Because next is adding that to CGI,
Yeah,
and then when that is done,
yeah,
like how we, because there's a bunch of videos I watch all the time. Not to take up any more time, I'll keep this under like 30 seconds.
yeah.
But it's Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden playing Minecraft.
Yo,
And
but just the voice.
the voice,
Yo,
and it is
that's
the it is
crazy.
the funniest thing ever
Oh my
because
god. But
just
is that
imagine you're in a room with like three of your friends playing Minecraft or
yeah,
playing any video game, and
yeah,
how you all interact and you trash talk and you just
yeah.
having fun.
But the
It's
voices
like
of those people.
it's the voices like Donald
That's
Trump is like
crazy.
the the asshole like friend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Joe Biden is the coolest one, and Obama is just like the normal one.
Yeah. That's
and
crazy.
then and then they just throw in little like jokes about each other, but has
Hmm.
no political leaning at all. And it's
Right.
amazing.
But people, but yo, but
But
I would, if I heard it, I'd be like, nah, like
I'll
anybody would
send you
believe
one
it
of
though,
them.
Do it and send me the name of that soccer player too.
All right.